Good morning, everybody. This morning I've got Steve Sshroeder, who's coming in. Steve Sshroeder. Oh my God, he'll shoot me for that one. And I also have Brenda Yang coming in and talk to her. So it's going to be an interview-filled day, and I'm excited about that. I'll get caught up here in a few minutes. We'll go live in just a uno momento. Por favor. All right, cool. I can't hear a darn thing. Hey guys, how are you? I can't hear anything, so I apologize. Trying to figure it out here. Hey Val, good morning guys, I can't hear nothing. Why can't I hear anything? I got nothing. Can you guys hear that? You can't hear nothing either. Huh. I wonder what's going on. Huh. Can't hear anything. Hang in there with me, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I have no sound at all. Hey Jeff, it's Bill.
What's up?
Hey, I have nothing through my headset or the board. I can't hear anything. And I don't know why that is, or I'm trying to figure it out.
I don't know why that would be either.
I don't know.
You got everything on like you normally have it.
Yeah, here, do this. I just took a picture. I got nothing. I don't know. I can't have anything through my headset at all. There's got to be
a headphone. You've got the headphone level turned up.
All the way. Control room. I have nothing in control room on. Even on. Let me try this. Okay. I got it.
Okay.
There's a button that wasn't pushed.
Okay.
Thanks, man. Sorry.
Good job.
Yep.
Bye.
Let's try this again, folks. I apologize. Woo! Oh my gosh.
Good morning, Sun Prairie. Time to rise and shine. Time to pour the coffee with Bill. Time to rise and shine with Bill.
He has all the ingredients for disaster.
Time to get going with Bill. He's phenomenal. Welcome to Baker Street with your host, Bill Baker.
Hey, well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Sun Prairie. I'm your host, Bill Baker, and I apologize for that delay that we had. There a little bit of technical gewitzits and doohickeys are going on in control board and all that stuff, so I apologize that we are on a little bit late this morning, but well, I can fix that later. That's not a problem. But hey, good morning to you. If you're like probably a lot of people out there this morning. We're a little disappointed about our Badger basketball team and what happened, but, we move on. But Brad Davidson, oh my gosh, the emotion in that young man after the game was just amazing, and realizing that, his basketball career is probably finished in the way of, I don't think he'll go to play professional, but last time he'll wear a Badger uniform. Badger basketball uniform anyway, so it was okay. I mean, they could have played better. I'm going to say this. I mean, Iowa State, yes, had more points than they did. The Badgers didn't play well. They were off last night, and even our All-American Johnny Davis, he was off. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn last night, and then of course injuries got us too, but. Well, that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about, the thrill of competition, right? I know. So don't be too upset. At least it wasn't a late game and we're not all hungover or something like that. Or trying to get into work this morning with no sleep. How's that sound, right? Yeah, I hear you. Hey, I'm back in the saddle this week. Last week I missed Monday because my son, Alex, a lot of you know Alex Baker, a 2013 grad right here in Sun Prairie. He was married. He married the love of his life, Miss Jessica Dove. And the two of them met in the Navy on the aircraft carrier, the Ronald Reagan, and also in Japan when it was stationed over there. They dated for about 4 years, and they decided it was time. It was time. So we had a lovely wedding ceremony. Terry and I went down to Jacksonville, Florida for a destination wedding, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautifully cold, like 45 degrees. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was freezing. Freezing like you can't believe how freezing it was. Oh my gosh, those ladies in those gowns and everything, and just shivering. Had a couple of events happen. They misplaced the rings and didn't realize that until like 2 minutes before the wedding started. So it delayed it for about 30 minutes, but that's okay. You know, they they got it together. They got it going. We found them. They were underneath the sofa in the Airbnb that they were where they were staying. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, everything went well. You know, no worries. The band was playing outside, and we moved them inside. That was something else. So that was fun. And we got them married. It was a blast. Yep, I went to they had, get this, on Friday night they had the bachelor party and bachelorette party. You can sit up here. Steve Sshroeder just walked into the Sun Prairie Media Center studios with his entourage. But we had a good time. I went to the bachelor party with the boys. That was a mistake. Why was a mistake? My credit card came out. I think dads go to weddings to write checks. That's what I think it's all about, you know. But hey, real quick, you're listening to 103.5 WLSP, the Sun, right here in beautiful Sun Prairie and the Sun Prairie Media Center. We're underwritten by those folks at the Bank of Sun Prairie and the Baker Realty Group. Glad to be a part of this. This morning, we've got an interesting conversation going to happen. We're going to continue our interview series with the for the school board, and this morning we're going to have the current president of the school board, Mr. Steve Sshroeder. We're going to talk about that name too, buddy. You know that. And then after, in the second hour, in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to have Brenda Yang, our District 19 candidate, which she will become county supervisor, and because he's running unopposed. But we'll get to all that, and let's do this. Let's get this show started and let you get warmed up a little bit, and then when we come back, we'll talk to Dr. Sshroeder and see what's going on in his world. And as you know, as we start every show, let's go fishing right here on 103.5 WLSP, the Sun. Good morning, Sun Prairie. Get up! It's the first day of a full day of spring. Come on now. Hey.
Nitty gritty.
You're Facebook Live right now.
Oh, okay.
Just want you to know that.
Thank you.
Do you want me to send it to your page?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
Nitty gritty dirt band.
Oh yeah. Every show I've ever had starts with
It's a
this
great
song.
Great song.
It's awesome.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I'm mourning. I'm in mourning. I'm mourning.
It was a tough game.
I know.
It was a tough game.
No, it wasn't. They played like crap.
Well,
come on, you got to be honest about it.
it was a tough game to watch. How about that?
Yeah, it was a very tough game to watch. When you're All-American, can't hit the side of a barn.
Boy, some of those shots weren't even close. Yeah.
I feel bad. You know, Brad Davis, the emotion he had afterwards, oh my gosh.
Yeah, those kids worked so hard. Well, Michigan State lost, didn't they?
I believe they did.
Yeah. So who's left?
Michigan won.
Michigan won.
Yeah. Good.
Is that the last Big Ten team in, maybe?
I believe so.
Yeah. But Purdue, how did they do?
I thought Purdue lost.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I was in mourning afterwards, and I was like, I have to go do some work.
Yeah. Well, you should try watching the Iowa game with Matt Harms.
Oh my gosh!
You and I watched it together. That was a tough game to sit next to him to watch.
I was there for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I was there for a while.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, I had to get up the next morning, so I got out of there.
I didn't stay very late.
No,
Matt was not in a great mood.
No,
he was.
No,
He
was fine.
He was fine.
Yeah, he was fine.
But I wondered who he was rooting for last night.
Oh.
Iowa State or Wisconsin? I would assume
Wisconsin. Yeah. If he wants to be my insurance agent, yes.
Yeah.
So I've shared this on Facebook.
Okay.
If you have your phone,
I do.
You can put it on Facebook, and you'll see how many people come on. You'll see how many people are watching it, and sometimes they'll pop on, and it'll say wave. Click wave.
Oh, okay.
Great song.
I love it.
I know, me too.
You ever heard the Nitty Gritty song, Dance Little Jean?
Oh, yeah.
That song will break your heart. It's a beautiful song, though.
I don't know if it'll break my heart.
Well, that her mom and dad are finally getting married?
I know, but it won't break my heart.
Well, I thought it was...
It'll make my heart hurt.
Come on.
Come on, man.
It's a sweet song.
You gotta talk like it. You gotta be a Southerner.
My dad and I have seen Nitty Gritty Dirt Band live.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
It's been a
Wausau.
long time. A long time ago. All right, let's go play. All right, a little bit of Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Going to cut the music a little short this morning because of the technical difficulties that we experienced this morning. Bill has to learn which buttons to push. And what's interesting about that is that I'm really a good button pusher, and I don't know why I was pushing the wrong buttons, but I was. Jeff Robbins stepped in. He came to my rescue and got the board working, and it looks fabulous. So it's doing great. Hey, again, Bill Baker here, and good morning, Sun Prairie. Going to be talking with Steve Sshroeder, who is our current school board president. And we're going to do his interview. We've done all of the candidates that are running for school board. There are 3 spots that are open, so don't forget about that when you go into the booth on April 5th, that you have a choice of 3 seats. Some people are out there hearing a lot of propaganda, I'm going to call it, telling people not to vote for all 3, just vote for the one that you really want, which I think is a mistake. I think it's a mistake. It's your right, your privilege to vote, and let's get a good group of candidates in there. And yeah, don't listen to all the crap that's out there. And maybe we can talk to Steve about this a little bit, because there seems like there's this positioning on Facebook that this, you know, if you're a conservative, I mean, they're starting to define people. And I don't like it. I don't like those people that are blowhards and are fuel, what do you call them? Fire starters. And some of them are even pouring gasoline on. But let me tell you who I'm talking to here. Steve Sshroeder. He's the incumbent. And he is the current school board president. He's married to Erin. He's got a couple of kiddos. I always hold the kids' names in case you don't want to put them on the air. But he's serving on the board since May 12th and was elected president of the board by his colleagues for the past 4 years after serving as vice president the previous 5 years. What this gentleman has done for our school district, you've got to hear this. Co-writing the district equity statement to ensure equity is on the forefront of district decision making, creating the employment wellness clinic in cooperation with the city of Sun Prairie, increased compensation for all employees, especially teachers. Let's throw that number out, 4.7% increase for our teachers, and I know they appreciate it. Invested millions of dollars to bring Sun Prairie to the lead in the Dane County averages, I would say, for teachers on that. Over $250 million in referenda approval to solve district space issues for the next 15 plus years. Completing renovations on all Sun Prairie schools. All areas of curriculum on 6-year cycles for review and revision. Wrote resolution directing Sun Prairie School District to move away from over-reliance on standardized testing. We're going to talk about that. And creating a more fair and equitable way to help measure kiddos and their achievements. He's championed the social and emotional learning curriculum and practices. All students are now receiving breakfast, which I really appreciate, and we're going to talk about that too. No student will ever go hungry in Sun Prairie. I love that comment. Working on creating food and clothing pantries for all schools. Consistently stands up for teachers and staff. Appreciate that. And most of all, ensuring all students receive the quality education they deserve. He's endorsed by everybody under the sun, under the world, the entire city council, it seems. But here's the one quote that I want to pull out for you, and it's by Bryn Horton. Steve is passionately committed to the students and families of our school district. You can't say much more than that, Steve Sshroeder. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Bill. Thanks for having me.
I should turn your microphone on. There you go.
I'll try it again.
Oh.
Good morning, Bill.
How's that?
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you.
I mean, we hang out at Buck and Honey's all the time with Matt Harms, but
once in a while.
I know. Man, you're something else.
Well, That's not all me, Bill. You know that.
I know.
This is an amazing district with amazing staff, and we have an amazing school board.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, people so often rely on social media for comments. And I got to say, there's more naysayers and people throwing crap than anything. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. I usually jump in and get in trouble, and that's probably why I lost my election. But I just can't believe some of the comments that people make about the school district and how bad it is. But you know, there's a great indicator of what this city really believes about our school district, and that was in the last referendum.
Right.
And you remember the statistics? 62%?
Just north of 60% of this community supported a $164 million referendum. And a few years before that, close to 60% of the Sun Prairie community, which is, you know, Bill, we're 10 municipalities, not just the city of Sun Prairie.
Right.
But 10 total municipalities supported an $89.5 million referendum.
That's amazing. That's called confidence.
Well, I think it is. Also, if you look at, we just did a survey about our refresh of our strategic plan, and 60%, there's that magic number again,
Sure.
Believes that this district's on the right track. Now, when you think about 60% during a pandemic, we just redrew boundaries
Right.
at the secondary level, and 60% of this community thinks that we're on the right track. I think that says something.
It's huge. It's huge. And when I see the naysayers out there, every time that happens, I feel like our teachers are getting a black eye. Boom, boom, pop to the face, pop to the face. That's that violence. I can't stand that stuff. Now, you do have a bill-paying job, don't you?
I do.
Now tell people what you
it's
do.
It's not the Sun Prairie School District.
No.
I can promise you that. So I work at the Association of Wisconsin School Administrators. We're the professional association for principals in Wisconsin.
And before that, you were at UW.
For 20 years.
Associate professor.
Yep.
Right?
Assistant dean.
Assistant dean, I apologize.
I did have some teaching responsibilities.
20 years?
Yeah.
So you've been in education all your life?
My entire life. Bill, I'm a product of public schools, the Wausau School District.
There you go.
I married a public school teacher. My wife teaches in Wanakee.
Yeah.
Both of our daughters, we have a senior and a 7th grader. They both started at C.H. Bird as kindergartners.
Okay.
And so they've been in public schools their entire life. And my oldest is choosing between UW-Madison and UW-Eau Claire. So she'll continue in the public system.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a shout out to your kiddos?
Well, Caskey, who is certainly still sleeping, she's a senior.
This is recorded, remember?
Yeah.
You can say, Dad called you out, girl. That's okay.
So she is a senior, and actually works at Buck and Honey's, and works at Teddy's daycare.
Okay.
And she teaches dance lessons.
Oh my gosh.
So she's busy. And then we have a 7th grader, Keena, who is at Patrick Marsh, and she just got her black belt in karate about 2 months ago.
Oh, she's a tough one.
And she is our cheesecake maker. She started a business, Bill, of making cheesecakes. And that happened during the pandemic. My wife and I were gone. My oldest daughter, Caskey, had a car, and she would often be gone. So poor Keena was at home by herself, and she just started baking. So she bakes cheesecakes, and $5 from every cheesecake she actually gives to the school district that goes into our Hunger Heroes account that goes to supplement the negative balance of kids' food account.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So she, on her own, started this business.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, but Bug's Bakery.
Bug's Bakery. Now, where can people find out more about that?
Well, they can look it up on Facebook.
Okay, Bug's Bakery.
Bug's Bakery.
Bug's Bakery.
And Bug has been her nickname before she was even born.
Oh my gosh.
But she created the recipe. She makes over 30 different kinds of cheesecake.
Oh my gosh.
She creates the design of the flyers, and yeah, she's amazing. And what's funny, Bill, is she doesn't eat cheesecake. She doesn't like it.
She doesn't like cheesecake?
So it's like, as you can tell, Dad does. Dad eats whatever's left when she's sampling them.
You sound like me. I'm on a seafood diet, man. If I see it, I eat it.
Yeah,
That's
me
a
too.
hard thing for me. I gave up peanut butter for Lent. I always do. And for me, I compare it to smoking. I've never smoked, but man, is it tough.
Yeah.
I mean, that peanut bar jar just calls
Just
for me from the
staring at you.
pantry. You go, "Amy, come
Yes.
on." You know what you just did is what you've done in your career on the school board. You're focused on the kids.
Well, it's about the kids, right?
Right.
We've got about 8,400 kids in this district, and I don't do this for my kids, Bill. My kids are going to be fine.
Yeah.
Right? My kids have two parents who are educated. We have the financial means. My wife and I have the connections to make sure that our kids get what they need. I do it for the kids who don't often feel like they have a voice, and frankly, sometimes don't have a voice. And if you don't go into this work not caring about kids, you're in the wrong profession.
You know, I've been to several of the they were called debates. It was more of a conversation, really. The Spark discussion, and then recently with Chris Murtis and Don Hoosier. And let's make this clear: it's Sshroeder, not Schroeder, correct?
It's Sshroeder.
It can be pronounced Schroeder, though.
It can be.
Ricky spells it that way.
He does. Yeah. Silver spoons.
Good German name.
You just get used to it, right? It's like it doesn't matter. But however people pronounce it is fine.
I've had people mispronounce Baker. Really? Bacher? I'm not Bacher.
Yeah, right.
Well, here's what in the conversations that you've had with the group is that there's a concern for lack of communication with the community, or the way it's phrased a lot of times is an increase communication. How do you feel about that?
Well, I thought it was interesting at the debate with Don and Chris, or as you said, conversation. One of the candidates said we as a district communicate too much.
That's true.
So
that was Latoya.
So it's trying to find, I guess, the Goldilocks approach. I'm not sure there is such a thing as over communication. I feel like the district does an amazing job, and as you know, Bill, we've actually gone back to print pieces.
Sure.
We mail them to 17,000 homes because 70% of residents in this community don't have kids in the school district.
Oh.
But they're paying taxes.
Sure.
And they deserve to know what's happening in their school district. So, obviously, social media, we have Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, our emails, our print publications, and that's at the district level. Of course, all of our schools and our SCOs at those schools have their own ways to communicate. I find it interesting when people say we don't communicate. I'm not sure how this district could communicate any more effectively than it does.
I agree with you. But here's the thing is, people say, well, I sent you an email. Well, I had over 150 emails this morning to delete. I mean, that's one of my routines in the morning. Terry thinks it's hilarious. I'm sitting here going, delete, delete, delete. I've unsubscribed. So you can get overwhelmed, but it's what you apply to the emails that you get and receiving it. Now, it's not always going to be the message that you want. I mean, we could talk about graduation. I mean, we could talk about things like that. But communication is what you make of it. And I don't think you're always going to agree. I mean, people aren't going to agree with that. But so communication, I think Sun Prairie's done a really good job of communicating. Now, we were listening to the other candidates and also talking about that not all parents are getting discussions or communicative. I don't want to use the word communicative, but what's another word?
Is it the community engagement?
Community engagement,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And so how do we get families engaged with their kids? How do we get families engaged with the school district?
Yeah. To me, all the candidates have talked about community engagement. To me, I want to know details. What does that mean? One of the candidates at the last forum wouldn't say whether they would approve the 4.7% increase to staff that the board recently provided until they received community input. How? I mean, are you going to survey all 50,000 people and figure out how they're going to vote? They elected you to make decisions.
Right.
And I take that responsibility very seriously. We don't always get it right in the school district, but I'm proud of the record that we have. But Bill, when it comes to community engagement, again, we're not perfect. but I'm not sure what else the school district can do. We're refreshing our strategic plan.
What does that mean, your strategic plan?
We have
'Cause
a.
people were asking me about that.
So it's our guiding document for the next 5 years. What is it we want to accomplish in the school district? So if we look back 6 or 7 years ago, one of our major priorities was space.
Okay.
We were running out of space at the elementary level.
Sure.
And we were running out of space at the secondary level, which is why we created Cardinal Heights Upper Middle School.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we couldn't even have freshmen at the high school.
Sure.
Because of space. Well, we've taken care of that. So these next 5 years, space is not a huge priority for us. Now, we want to upkeep the space that we have.
Sure.
But we are looking good for space at least the next 15 years.
Now, we have folks that are talking about the decrease in enrollment, that's a huge concern. And how do you feel about that? Or do you feel it's a blip because of the pandemic?
It's certainly a blip. And when you look at the projections, and we use the University of Wisconsin Madison Population Lab.
Okay.
We also use an independent consultant who does this for a living.
Sure.
This is a blip. This district will be growing. We are one of the fastest growing school districts in Wisconsin, and I would just say, look at the other communities in Dane County.
Sure.
Right? During the pandemic, they haven't grown either. But when you look at what the city's doing, especially the city of Prairie and the city of Madison, that part that happens to be in our school district, and you look at the projected growth, the number of homes, there's no question the school district is going to increase enrollment.
Well, as a realtor, I can tell you that one of the main reasons people are moving here is because of the school district.
Right.
Now, you'll have naysayers out there. Well, I can tell you for a fact, because I'm selling them houses and working with them, that they appreciate our school district. As you said, you're not going to make everybody happy. You use the phrase, and some others, that we don't always get it right. Well, I'd like to say you just don't make everybody happy.
Well, that's true, and
Sure.
but I do think, Bill, that not every decision that you make is the right decision. So you mentioned graduation, right?
Sure.
Graduation was a knee-jerk reaction when the Alliant Energy Center said, you can have the building on Friday, but you can't have the parking lot.
That was ridiculous.
Well, so we, because of Bradfest, so we quickly said, okay, let's pick another date. Now, what we should have done was we should have paused and figured out something.
Sure.
But again, it wasn't this malicious
No.
decision, and I guess that's what gets me often is there's very little assumption of positive intent anymore.
Right.
Like our superintendent or the board
Right.
or our faculty and staff are intentionally trying to make bad decisions that hurt kids.
Sure, I agree with you.
I mean, come on, that is just so unfair and below the belt.
And here's the thing is, I know Brad Sshroeder. I mean, you know him a lot better than I do, but that gentleman loves athletics, loves the activities that the kids are in. There is no way that in his world that he would ever interfere with something like that. And so I know he felt bad about it.
Well, he did, and Bill, he had 4 kids in the system. One graduated.
Sure.
He's got 3 kids in the system. He's got a daughter who's a junior. Leo is, I think Leo's maybe a freshman, maybe he's in 10th grade, forgive me,
Okay.
I can't forget. And Gussie is at Token Springs.
Sure.
So Brad has always sent his kids to public schools and has always sent them to the district in which he's working at. He's an amazing superintendent and takes way too much unfair criticism.
Yeah. Well, he's an easy person to cancel. And that's what our culture is running. Cancel them. You can't do anything if you breathe wrong. You're canceled. Get out of here. We touched on it a little bit. The 4.7% increase in pay for our teachers and that. You know what I was sitting there listening to, and you being financially and fiscally responsible as you are, I know how you kind of foresee things. What I've been thinking about is that, I want your comments on this, is that we keep seeing the decrease in teachers. I mean, and they're not coming up. The people are not becoming teachers at the rate that they were. What I see is competition about to start, where now teachers are going back, oh, I see, I've got 4 school districts I can go to work for. What's your price? What's your price? What's your price? You see what I'm saying?
Well, there's no question that's happening.
Oh, my gosh.
And Bill, it's also for administrators.
Sure.
Right? There's a shortage of superintendents in the state, especially quality superintendents. Right. And working for the Principal Association, I can tell you that there's a shortage of quality building principals in this state. Like there are teachers who don't want to go into administration. Look at what our whether they're district office or school-based administrators face.
Oh.
I mean, the harassment that staff have faced during COVID because of masking.
Sure.
As if our principals and school nurses and teachers are the ones who are deciding masking policy,
Sure.
right? I mean, it's ridiculous. But there's no question that the number of high school students who are interested in going into teaching at a post-secondary institution is dropping. Enrollment at post-secondary institutions and teaching programs is dropping. We have to address this, and we are trying in some Prairie. We've invested, Bill, over $7 million in teacher pay alone over the last 5 years.
Wow.
Additional increase, and as you mentioned at the beginning of the show, we were below Dane County average. We're now slightly above Dane County average for teacher pay. Now, to me, that's not good enough, because our teachers deserve more than that.
Sure.
So what have we done? We took our health insurance and we froze rates for 5 years. Right? We worked with SSM Dean.
I would love to have that happen.
With that, other districts are seeing 10 to 20% increases
Sure.
every year. Not only did we freeze rates for 5 years, the premiums actually decreased 1%. So for 5 years, we created this employee wellness clinic, which is costing us about $400,000 a year, where all employees and their families can utilize this clinic, which now is in the Dean Clinic on Tower.
And you piggyback that off the city program.
We did it jointly with.
Oh,
the
you
city.
did? Okay. All right.
So we went to the city and said, we're thinking about doing this. Are you interested? And to the credit of the mayor and the city council and Aaron Oppenheimer, the city administrator, they said absolutely.
Sure.
So it's a wellness clinic
Sure.
for district and city. Now there are no co-pays to that, Bill, so folks can go there. There are no co-pays and receive quality care. Now that clinic's going to be moved to what is now Central Heights,
Okay.
Cardinal Heights. It'll be called Central Heights. So it'll be right in one of our facilities. But those are just a couple of examples of what we've tried to do to attract and retain, again, not just teachers, but administrators and staff. We've got about 400 staff members in this school district. And while we focus on teachers, and I understand that, we have people who give their heart and soul to this school district, whether they're in food service,
Exactly.
they're in facilities and grounds, they're administrative assistants, they're special education assistants, they're playground assistants. Right? This is their career.
Yeah.
And they deserve to be treated with dignity and respect as well.
They make it happen.
They literally open the doors.
Exactly. Something that we've talked about recently at Buck and Honey's with my spouse, and I got a hit on this because this came up at my son's wedding in Jacksonville. I know of a teacher that was teaching in Sun Prairie. I won't put her name out there because I'd embarrass her and she'll hit me or something later. Or, I don't know. She'll get mad at me because I know her husband's on watching right now also. But she left Sun Prairie School District not because of the administrators, but because of the behavior of the students and the way that she was being treated. And Terry said the same thing. Terry Latimer, for you that don't know, is my spouse. And Terry's concerned about that too, because as administrators, it's a tough role to fill in the way of discipline or correction, or, and I may be using the wrong words here, you please correct me on this, but we're seeing an increase in that kind of disrespect to adults, administrators, teachers, everybody that's out there. And teachers have just raised their hand and going, see ya. I mean, I can tell you an example with Terry where a kid came down, walking down the hall and called her the C word. And nothing happened to her. Or as she says, I'm afraid to go to the bathroom. And I said, well, why would you be afraid to go to the bathroom? Because I'm afraid of what I'll walk into and witness and have to report. Oh my gosh. How are we going to address this? I mean, that's a big picture for you, and I apologize. That was a lot, man.
No, but this is the reality that our staff across the country are facing. Of course, it's not just Sun Prairie or DeForest.
No.
This is across the board. A couple of thoughts. But one is, and I've told people my number one priority is trying to figure out this deregulation of students. Right? And I'm not.
What do you mean by that?
Well, meaning that our students their world has been thrown into a tailspin like the rest of ours 2 years ago with,
Sure.
with COVID. Right? They were learning remotely. They were at home. They could sort of do what they wanted to do. They could go to the bathroom when they wanted to go. Right? They
Study when they want.
exactly.
Basically.
There wasn't this sort of 7 to 3 format
Sure.
that we call school. So that's one thing that we're definitely dealing with, and again, we're dealing with it across the country. What the other point I would make, Bill, is look at how adults treat each other.
Oh,
Right.
well, look at Facebook.
Well,
what we're talking about.
When we talk about bullying,
Yeah.
and as you know, we put together a bullying task force a couple of years ago that was led by Tom Weber, a school board member. But when you look at the disrespect and the bullying that adults are giving to each other,
Right.
is it a wonder that our kids are acting the way that they are? Where's the civility? Like everything is personal, right? We're talking about the graduation. Some of the emails I received about you don't care about kids. I can't believe you're doing this to kids. And it's like, do you really think that we sit around figuring out how can we make kids' lives difficult? No, we're trying to do the opposite, actually.
Right.
And I will say that this also urban legend that there are no consequences is just not true. We've expelled 14 children already this year alone, Bill.
But do they get to come back?
Well, yes.
Okay.
They get to come back under certain conditions.
Okay.
Because we believe that people make mistakes. And to kick out a 15, 16, 17, or 18-year-old, and because they made a mistake, is not who we want to be in Sun Prairie. So with conditions which often include mental health counseling, often they're not allowed to come back to the building that they're in.
Sure.
People don't know this, but at the district office, the district service center, we have kids who are there Monday through Friday from 7 to 3, learning in that environment. Of course, we have our alternative high school, Prairie Phoenix Academy, which is a great alternative for some children. But there's no question what you're talking about, and what your wife Terry and what my wife deals with on a daily basis. It's real, and we need to figure it out. And if I could
go ahead.
make the transition to, we need to make social and emotional learning a priority.
Absolutely.
Right now, it comes after reading and math, and it doesn't mean that reading and math are important. Of course they're important. But Bill, if a child is hungry, if a child
Is not safe.
is not safe, if a child does not feel loved and does not feel seen for who they are, do we really think that they're going to be able to learn math? Of course not. We need to teach empathy and critical thinking and analytical skills. Those skills that we know can be taught.
Sure.
You can teach a child empathy. Let's teach those skills first, and then they'll be in a position to be able to learn the cognitive skills that they need to. But most schools do the opposite. They put cognitive first, reading and math first.
Reading, writing, arithmetic.
Right. Look at what we've done in kindergarten.
Sure.
Right. Kindergarten used to be structured play.
Right.
Right? And I mean that in the most positive of ways. It's where kids learn how to share, how to communicate. They learn teamwork. Now, kindergarten is all about reading and math.
Oh my gosh.
And we need to stop that. And we need to get back to a place where we're teaching the skills that matter first. And my last comment, then I'll be quiet.
No,
I
you're
promise.
good.
My last comment, Bill, is when you look at the skills that employers want,
Right.
what are they? They're communication, critical thinking, teamwork, creativity. Right? They're not, do you know the details of the War of 1812? Right?
Right.
We can Google that. We can find that out.
Sure.
But you can't Google being empathetic.
I agree with you. You know, the thing is, I think parents need to stop being friends with their kids and be a parent. And that's a challenge. We don't always have to give, cell phones to our kids right out of the womb. Maybe let them get to 15 or 16. Cell phones are another subject that, I got to tell you, we had an experience down in Jacksonville, and I wish Terry could be hearing this right now, but she's in class, I know. We went to a store, and she bought this top. And I'm talking to one of the employees, which, I'm an introvert, basically. I don't talk to anybody, so this was rare. But she comes walking over to me, and she says, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? She goes, they are required to count change back to every customer. It's not what's on the cash register, it's the way they have to present money back. I said, you gotta be kidding me. And the lady looks over, who was the owner of the place, she goes, absolutely. Absolutely. She says, I'm teaching them a skill. And I love that about, and that's what we need to do.
There's no question. And as I mentioned, Caskey works at Bucket Honey.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, why do you work there? What are you learning? Are you kidding me? She's learning customer service. She's learning communication.
Yeah.
She's learning patience to deal with certain customers. Right? These are all lifelong skills, Bill, that are going to serve her well.
Right.
And that's what kids need. And I want to make a quick comment about parents. We need parents to be involved.
Absolutely.
I did a back of the envelope calculation a couple of weeks ago, looking at the amount of time children spend in school. Now this is,
oh my gosh, here we go.
This is year round, okay, and it includes sleeping. But if you take 180 days, which kids are in school for, and 7 hours a day, and then you take that by the total number of hours in a year, our kids are in school 14% of the time. 14. That means 86% of the time they're not in school.
Right.
But yet schools are supposed to be responsible for everything in that child's life, and we simply cannot. Luckily, we have great community schools. The city of Sun Prairie is an amazing partner with us, Dane County, and so on. But at the end of the day, schools cannot solve every societal problem.
No, I agree, but you know they're receiving an education at home. I'm hoping, not always. I mean, a single parent family is a challenge. I mean, you've got, and depending on their social economic standing, I mean, it makes it even more difficult. But they're learning other things. They're learning that family involvement, and family's important. You know, the thing that I think we need to add to this, which I think would also help with equity on it, is respect. That's important. Teaching children what respect means and how to receive respect, and also how to give respect.
There's no question. And I would add, Bill, how they can respect themselves.
There
as
you
well.
go. Yeah, they gotta like themselves.
That's right.
And know that they are where they are, but they can move at any time. What I mean by move is they can be anything that they want to be, and that the tools are there to get that done. Man, you got me emotional and on a soapbox. I feel like I'm being interviewed now, but it's a big thing.
It is.
You put your heart and soul into this, dude. I mean, you really have for so long in that. Why is this so important to you? Why is the school board? You could be mayor. You could be chancellor of UW.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want any of that. I do it. I grew up poor, Bill, and to a single mother who was in and out of jail growing up. So I grew up in poverty. My entire.
Your mom was in and out of jail?
Yeah, she was. And so I didn't have the greatest childhood, and it was teachers. I'll tell you a story. So everybody, TGIF, right? Always happy at the end of the day on a Friday. Not me.
Okay. Why?
Because I didn't know what that weekend was going to bring.
Oh.
And often there's no food. So and this is, I'm so old, we didn't have school breakfast when I went to school. Sometimes the last meal I would have was Friday lunch at school,
okay.
And then not until Monday lunch the following after the weekend. So it was always TGIF, and the weekend was here, and I remember distinctly walking home, wondering if my mother was going to be there or not, first and foremost, and wondering what kind of instability that weekend was going to bring. So for me, it was, thank goodness it's Monday. And school to me was my refuge, and it was my safe place. And the love and attention that I received from public school teachers is the reason that I'm here now. There's no doubt about that. I owe so much to public education. And again, if public education weren't there for me, I would be one of those statistics.
Oh my gosh.
And so I don't do this again for me.
Right.
It's essentially a volunteer job. There's a small stipend, and it is quite small. And since I've been president, I put in probably 25 to 30 hours a week in this. But I do it because I care. And again, every child in the school district, all 8,400 children, deserve to have a champion, as do our 1,300 staff members. They deserve to have somebody on their side. And with Terry, the fatigue that our staff are going through. People think, well, you're working 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday. It's the emotional toll. Right? Think about
40?
Imagine being a
40
teacher.
hours?
Well, no, I mean in school. I mean when kids are there.
Yeah.
No, there's no question, and you're right. It's much more than that. I see it with my wife. But I think about my teachers and the emotional toll that I must have taken on them. And you take that home.
Sure.
Right? So people wonder, why is there so much burnout? Because our teachers are not just teachers anymore. They're social workers. They're psychologists.
Mm-hmm.
They're surrogate parents.
They're moms.
They're moms
Dads,
and dads
right.
for many of our kids. And there is a toll that takes on someone's psyche. Thank goodness for our teachers and our staff. And again, we just have the most amazing educators in this school district.
I think so too. We had a situation, was it a year ago February, where a subject came up that was presented out there, and to this day I don't think the teachers were malicious in any way, maybe not as sensitive as they should have been, but how much flexibility should our teachers have with the curricula that they're presenting?
Well, I think there should be a certain amount of flexibility, but at the end of the day, we have learning standards, as we should, right? So we want students at the end of first grade to know X, Y, and Z. But I think some sort of standardized curriculum I think is important. I'll give you another example.
Sure.
Bill, when my oldest was in third grade, our next door neighbors have a son who's a day older than our daughter, so they were in the same school, different classes, but same grade. Their learning experience could not have been any more different. My daughter was focused on reading. Our neighbor's child, their class was focused on spelling, for example. And I'm thinking, our daughter hasn't even had a spelling test. How can we ensure consistency then between Creekside and Royal Oaks,
right,
or East Side and North Side, if we have teachers in the same school, same grade level, who are not on the same page? So there has to be some sort of continuity, some sort of consistency. But we also need to allow teachers to teach, and allow teachers to not just teach for a state standardized test.
Yeah.
And that's what we've come to. We are all about the test. And again, what does a test measure? At least these tests, they measure cognitive abilities.
Sure.
They don't matter. They don't measure the traits and attributes that matter the most.
Sure.
So I have been pushing this, and actually I wrote a resolution a year ago, and our school board passed it unanimously, saying that we as a school district will move away from the over-reliance of standardized tests.
Well, I even think that, I wrote a paper about this in college, that college needs to do away with the SAT and ACT. For God's sakes, the college is a business, and that's what I wrote the paper on. The testing doesn't prove anything. It doesn't mean you're going to be a good college student or a bad college student.
And there's no good predictor, Bill.
Thank you.
Of a child's SAT or SAT scores on whether they're going to be successful either in college or successful in life. And all you have to do is look at the studies that have been done. When you look at the Fortune 500 CEOs, they were not A+ students, they were B students.
Sure.
But there were students who were involved in extracurricular activities.
There you go.
Right? They were involved in developing their leadership skills and all of the other important skills that we know matter in life. So again, we're focused on these test results that are not good predictors of success. And the University of California system, the entire system, has eliminated the SAT for admission. And as you know, the University of Wisconsin system has put it on hold because of COVID.
Sure.
I hope they eliminate it. And because again, for a child to have their standardized test score sort of as a scarlet letter on their forehead is just
ridiculous.
It's not fair. And I would be embarrassed to tell you what my ACT score was. And I went to graduate school. I got my doctorate, right? But if you looked at that score and through a traditional lens, you would have thought, well, this kid's never even going to be able to get through UW-Madison.
Isn't that interesting? Oh,
so we need to move away from it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's focus on what you do good or great. If you're great in algebra, go for it. Rock and roll, right?
Yes.
English, whatever the subject, work towards that.
Absolutely.
And we still need more trades. We need more trades. Believe me, I need more houses built. Give me some more carpenters and plumbers.
There's also no doubt about that, Bill. And I'm proud of what the school district has done in that area around our home construction class. Now, I will tell you that we have kids who are not signing up for these classes.
Why is that?
I think that there is I'm sure there's a multitude of reasons. I think one of the reasons is there's such a focus in our society for you have to go to college, right?
Sure.
College is the right track, and it isn't for every student.
Right.
But we need to get kids at Sun Prairie High School signing up for a home construction class, because if we don't have kids sign up, we won't be able to offer it. It's an elective.
Right.
We have an automotive program, as you know, and I'm really proud of what we're doing in Sun Prairie around the trades, and the partnership we have with Madison College, where we're sending kids to Madison College to get some of their learning there, things that we can't provide in-house. But there's no doubt that the trades, again, look at the statistics.
Right.
Even in this state, the number of high school students is dropping in the state.
Why?
Well, the Wisconsin population, right?
Sure.
We're having fewer kids.
We need colder winters.
Right. Yeah, exactly. My dad is from a family of 7. Right?
Oh, wow.
So, and that wasn't that uncommon a generation or two ago. And now, what's the average? Maybe two?
Yeah. And that's something.
So,
Hey, we're running out of time
Yeah.
here. I'm going to give you the last say.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to the people of Sun Prairie that are out there they're still sitting on the fence? They're trying to make a decision on who to vote for school board.
Yeah.
Why should they vote for you?
Well, I don't like talking about myself in this way, but I've been on the school board for 10 years. For 9 of those 10 years, my board colleagues have elected me either vice president or president. I'm proud of my endorsements that I have. I've been endorsed by Republicans and Democrats and independents.
The way it should be.
Well, it's a non-political
The way it should
office,
be.
right?
Yeah, but it still should. Yeah.
No, totally.
Right.
And we need to take politics out of this.
Oh.
I've got a voting record, right? So people can talk about being pro-educator. You can look at my record for 10 years to see how I voted.
Okay.
I believe that I'm somebody who can bring people together and focus on kids. And ultimately, that's what this is about. There's a lot of white noise out there of adult problems.
Right.
And as a school district, I'm really proud that we have taken a shift from focusing on adult problems to focusing on kid problems. And there's a lot more work to do in this school district, and I would be honored to serve for another 3-year term if elected.
How do they get a hold of you or learn more information about you?
Yeah, so I have a website, steve4sp.com, and that's Steve, the number 4, sp.com. Of course, if people have official school district business, my phone number and school district website, or email address is on the district website.
Okay.
Of course, if you want to email me about my campaign, please don't use the district website, but go to steve4sp.com.
Awesome. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Good to see you.
Nice job. I really appreciate your involvement with the school board. Thank you for making that commitment.
Well, I appreciate what you do for this community.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
So thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Steve Sshroeder, candidate for the Sun Prairie School District, now you've heard all 5 of the candidates that we have out there, and here's what I want you to do, Sun Prairie. Please do this. You can go to KSUN, go to the On Demand section of KSUN, go back and look at Chris Murtis and Don Hoosier's interview or debate that they had with the candidates last Friday night. I think it'll be up today. Or you can go back and look at the Spark interview with the candidates and listen to what they're saying and see and let that help make a decision for you. But here's what I want you to say. Here's what I want to say to you. Is it a feel good or is it somebody that can get the job done? And that's really important. I mean, the fiscal responsibility. I like to say fiscally conservative, and I use that conservative word, and people roll their eyeballs right away. That has nothing to do politically at all. But are they fiscally responsible? Are they working for our kids? Is it going to help us as the old people in the community? Because these kids are our future leaders, and they're going to be taking care of us in 10 or 20 years. And so think about that. And here's what I want to say to everyone that I met with, and that are all gracious. They're wonderful people. Thank you. Thank you for stepping up and running for office and putting your neck on the line. I've already seen the attacks on Facebook, and those that are making the attacks, you're an idiot and you're stupid. And that's probably the lowest grade language I can use, but that's what you deserve. They're blowhards. There's fire starters out there. Listen to the people and what they're saying. Don't get hung up on social media. Is it a feel good, or are they going to get the job done? And I think, and only you will know that in your heart. So I want to say again, thank you to each one of you that's out there that's running for a school board. Man, my hat's off to you, and I really appreciate it. Let's do this. We're going to go back to some music, and then I'm going to reset the show, and we will bring Brenda Yang in around 8:15. Good morning, Sun Prairie. You're listening to 103.5 WLSP, The Sun. You're still on Facebook.
Is that okay?
Awesome. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here. And yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. I was walking out my guest and just having a chat with him a little bit. And thanks for being on Facebook. Thanks for being here. I know right now we're listening to a little bit of music. If you're on Facebook right now and you're watching, they want to know why we're not playing any music. Well, the reason for that is that Facebook doesn't believe we're a radio studio, and so they shut us down as soon as they hear music, which is a pain in my butt. But that's why you don't hear any of the music. I apologize for that. You know, school district, I'm going to talk about it here in a second when we come out of this as we wait for our second guest to get here. I'm really surprised at, and you're going to hear me talk about this more on the radio, is that the lack of turnout to the debates that were there, from Spark to, the city council venue and all that. They really didn't publicize it that much, but there was maybe 3 people there. Dr. Brad Sarin was there for that one. But for Spark, which was a very well announced and advertised event, maybe I'll say 50, but I'm probably leaning heavy on that. We've had 36,000 people in this town, and 50 show up. If I had 1,000, I would have been happy with that. And I'm going to get off here real quick, and I'm going to go say hello to Brenda Yang as she walks into the studio, and then we're going to reset the show and come out swinging, all right? How's that sound? Hey! Come on in.
All right.
We are on Facebook Live
Okay.
as you walk in. Actually, they can hear us all the way down there. So come on in. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Madam Supervisor, almost.
Almost.
You're on that chair with that headset, and this is your camera.
Oh, right there?
Uh-huh.
All right. Put it on my head then. That'd be better.
So we got a song, and then we'll come out. And
And these are more like personal questions you said.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we'll talk about stuff. Nothing. We'll talk housing. We'll have fun.
Okay, sounds good.
I promise you. Okay. See?
Yeah. You printed it. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And that's my other part.
How long is this?
A half hour.
Okay. Awesome.
Actually, we can go longer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I got to teach this morning, but
You
an
do?
hour's good. So.
Okay, cool. Is Andy still your special person?
Yes, he is. But yeah, I don't think he wants his name announced, but you can just say special person. That's fine too.
All right.
Yeah, he likes to keep his life private, so and
That's
I try
okay.
to do that to him.
Well, he's all over Facebook with you.
Yes. That's true, he is. But
So we'll talk about, I'm going to set your background, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it. We'll go to more of your points that you have here, your priorities and issues.
Yeah.
But just getting to know you.
Yeah.
I think people want to know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got about 2 minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
But you are on Facebook right now.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you want me to share it to your Facebook page?
No, that's okay. I will share it later.
What? Your peeps could see why it's happening. We're live. All right. I won't do that then. You were going to say something and I cut you off.
Oh, I don't know what I was going to say. I was just going to ask you how your vacation was.
It was a wedding.
Oh.
My
okay.
son's wedding.
Wow.
I know.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
Okay.
It's
is
my
your older
youngest,
or-
my 27-year-old.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. He's now out of the basement. No, he's actually in the Navy. Well, he was in the Navy. He lives in Seattle.
Okay.
His spouse, Jessica, is still in the Navy.
Yeah.
But the wedding was in Jacksonville.
Mm.
And so it was 45 degrees.
Wow, that's kind of cold for Florida.
Jacksonville, too. I mean, Jacksonville's up near Georgia, but
Mm-hmm.
got about a minute to go. Brenda, there's a button down there if it's too loud or not loud enough that you
The
can
level?
that you can turn right.
Is that the level?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Lisa. I really appreciate that. Lisa's my former producer, one of my besties. She just had a birthday on Saturday, so happy belated birthday. Make it a birthday month. That's what I say. Hey, the Sun Prairie Chamber of Commerce is venturing back out into the world this month for its after-hours social and networking event. Yep, they'll be meeting at Full Mile Beer Company and Kitchen around 4 p.m., and this will be a casual social networking event. To the best plan for space, advanced registration is required. Confirmation will be mailed after registration. Go to sunprairiechamber.com. That's sunprairiechamber.com to register. If you're not a member of the chamber, you ought to be. I am, and I will always be. So go to the sunprairiechamber.com, and like I said, if you're not a member, come on over and let's get you there. The Sun Prairie Chamber is also hosting its 31st annual Chamber Golf Classic at the Oaks Golf Course. The best-in-class golf course is a par 71 18-hole track with creative bunkering. I love when they say that. That's going to happen on May 19th. And it starts at 11:30 with a shotgun start. Again, go to sunprairiechamber.com. And we're also looking for sponsors for that event. I'm sure they're going to hit me up for that. They always do, Brenda, I tell you. 100 here, 100 there. Oh, my gosh. Hey, the Sunbury High School Job Fair is happening Wednesday, April 20th from 11:15 to 2:15 p.m. They're limited to the first 50 registrants. Presented by the Business and Education Partnership, BEEP, and the Sun Prairie Chamber of Commerce. This job fair is exclusive to Sun Prairie High School students. The first-time event will allow 1,800 students the opportunity to meet their employers who are hiring full-time, part-time, and seasonal employees. Employers can register at sunprairiechamber.com. Peace Lutheran Ministries, yep, there you go, at 1007 Stonehaven Drive is sponsoring a blood drive on April 7th from 11 to 4 p.m. Go to redcrossblood.org to sign up. Trust me, you need to go register. It's a lot easier and faster when you do that. So you're all caught up a little bit, and man, Sun Prairie, you guys are just absolutely fabulous, man. You're out there and you're doing stuff and getting involved. Spring is the first day of spring, and just really excited about that. And so, Lisa, we're going to speed you up here a little bit. Okay, you're done. Why? Because I can. I am the god of the control board, and that's what I like to do. That's okay. Hey, Bill Baker here. You're listening to 103.5 WLSP, The Sun, and we're underwritten by those wonderful folks at the Bank of Sun Prairie and the Baker Realty Group. Glad to be a part of this, and we're located over at the library at the far end of it on Linroot Drive at the Sun Prairie Media Center Studios. Swing by anytime. I always have to get a plug in for the Media Center, because if you've ever had an opportunity, a thought, an idea of being on the radio, being on TV, doing something like that, come on over, see Jeff Robbins, and talk about it, and get your idea out there. We have had some crazy people out there like me sit down with an idea, and 7 years later, you're still doing it. I don't know what to make of that, but it's okay. I'm having fun. We make a lot of cash, the big salaries of zero. We make nothing. We're all volunteers. We have about 90 people that are volunteers that help in the way of either doing shows, producing, writing, and directing the shows, and so it's a lot of fun. Here's the other thing I want to say, Sun Prairie. If you're listening to the show, you enjoy Good Morning Sun Prairie, or my Sun Prairie Real Estate Show, or Farmers Market, the football games, any of the shows that we have, you don't want to be on the air. How about doing this? This is a nonprofit. Don't forget every little bit helps. So consider making a donation. Go to sunprairiemediacenter.com and click that little donate button. Throw us a few $1 million and help us out, would you? We're doing our best to get all the words, all the shows, everything you like out there, and with that added cash, it always helps us improve machinery. That way we don't have to use turntables and reel-to-reels anymore. Brenda's looking at me and going, what's a reel-to-reel? I'm sure. Hey, this morning we're having a great conversation. We finished our school board candidate part of the interviews, and excited about that. But here's what I'm going to say to you, Sun Prairie. I'm a little disappointed in you, and I have to be very blunt with that because I've attended all of the interviews, all the debates, and you did not. We have 36,000 people in this town, and when you go to the Spark presentation with everybody that's out there, maybe 50 people were there. And the school board was finished, city council was finished, and everybody got up and left. And I know Brenda was there, and she was there. So here's what I want you to do, Sun Prairie. Spring elections are usually the weakest election time. Well, get over it, okay? Right now, there's some people that have raised their hands, stood up. They're stepping out to help our communities, whether it's a Dane County supervisor, it's a school board person, or a city council. Take the time to learn about each of these individuals. And I want you to go to KSUN, go to our Sun Prairie Media Center, click on the demand button and hit the Spark interview. See these people. Know that they are just like you and I. And all they want to do is make our world a little bit better. Maybe help satisfy or meet some things that you have in your life that you want. Things like broadband and stuff like that. But we're going to talk about that. But so please, like I said, I'm disappointed in you. You're not showing up, and you need to. We live in the greatest city in the world, and what I'm telling you is that we need to keep it that way. And to do that, we have to support these great people that are stepping up to be our leadership. And we're putting our faith in them, and they want to have faith in you that you're going to help do that. Now, one of those people is a wonderful lady that I've met recently. Her name's Brenda Yang, and she's a candidate for the Dane County Board, District 19, and you're running unopposed.
At the moment, yes.
Wait a minute, not at the moment.
Well, there might be some crazy write-in or something. You never know.
Oh, Mickey Mouse gets in there every time. Abraham Lincoln's in there all the time.
Always got to keep my guard up.
Yeah.
So I kind of work as an educator. Kind of fell in those spots, you know.
That's true. Now, this lady is pretty amazing. I got to tell you about this because I got a little secret one down here that she doesn't even know about yet.
Oh, okay.
But her bill-paying job is as the Upward Bound Math and Science Advisor,
yes.
And she supports students at Madison East and La Follette High School, and her focus is with students who come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds and are the first in their generation to attend college. That is cool. I want to know if I fit that category. Because I was a farm kid. It was just my mom and I.
Yeah.
And I was, in that family, I was the first one to go to college.
Yeah.
Now, my dad's got a doctorate, but he's my stepdad. We allowed him in the family later when I was 8. But here's what you need to know about her. Brenda has served as a board member for the Mung Institute and is currently a board member for the YWCA. She's also a part of the Madison School District Superintendent's Human Relations Advisory Council team and has served as on that council for the past 5 years. She sits on the Sun Prairie Public Safety Committee, lucky you. Nice job. Endorsed by the South Central Federation of Labor, and here's my favorite coming out, the Realtors Association of South Central Wisconsin, something that I'm a part of, and I agreed with that. Most important, she's lived in Sun Prairie for 21 years, and most importantly, she's endorsed, she has got the praise, she has got a gentleman that has complete faith in her, and my buddy Oscar Morales.
Oh.
Oscar is one of my besties. I love that man. And
he's one of my best friends as well. So.
And he and I have had so many adventures together. And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. It's amazing to have me. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to come share and talk with you and talk with the Sun Prairie residents. So.
Hey, tell us how does District 19 lay out? Because isn't there like 50 districts in Sun Prairie? Not that many, maybe 4? No.
I think so. It overlaps a lot. Total supervisors in Dane County is 37.
Okay.
And so I think about 4 of those interlap, like Melissa Ratcliffe, most of hers is in Cottage Grove, but a little bit of Sun Prairie as well. And
Okay.
Annalise Eicher, Rick Rose, Jack Wigan, and then current supervisor from my district that I'm running against is Tim Rockwell.
Right.
So those, yeah.
Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
so you are running against Tim Rockwell?
No, Tim is not.
No,
running
he's
again.
not running. Yeah, I was saying,
he's not in the
did something happen overnight? And I'm like,
No.
I'm out of this thing. Okay, just check. Hey, tell people, because I don't think people understand what the role is of a Dane County supervisor.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still just finding that out myself, obviously, because I've never served before. But
Do you hear that little giggle? That was that fear giggle. I mean, it's okay, because I've had that giggle. I know what you're talking about.
I think the thing is, though, we have to educate ourselves, right? And we have to be more aware. And I feel like a lot of the times when we're not a part of that process, we don't really know what's going on. But I've read a lot of the work and connected with key people who will help me understand, partner with people who are have been on the county board for years to help me understand the process and what involved it. So basically, the summary of that is there are 7 committees. And each of the board members get to choose, or get appointed to certain committees that affect the social humane services in our counties.
Okay.
And so then we get to be a part of, if we want to write in a policy or a bill to come to pass, or so it's more of this direct services impact to the county. And what I really love about this position is it not just only affects Sun Prairie, which I love Sun Prairie, and I've been here for a long time, but I do a lot of work in Madison.
Okay.
And so it affects also the people that I serve in Madison.
Sure.
With their students and families as well. And so all of Dane County, Seat of Cottage Grove, Seat of Madison, Middleton, Verona, Fitchburg, all of that.
Wow.
And so yeah, it's a big county.
Wow. Wow. Hey, something I love. This is one of your quotes. It says, as an advisor, I put a lot of my passion and energy into making dreams come true. And it's such a delight to have the opportunity to make dreams come true for children and to break barriers and open doors for them and their families.
Absolutely.
I love that. I saw that and I'm like, my heart feel good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like you, right? You're a first-gen student.
Uh-huh.
And so for me, I really believe that the key to a better future is to help students gain access to higher education.
Okay.
And for me, I'm in higher education, but I'm also a first-gen. And not a lot of people realize this, but the program that I serve is federally funded by the federal government, Department of Education.
Okay.
And it was created in the 1950s
Oh.
from President LBJ and civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. as a means to help fight generational poverty.
Okay.
And create access into higher education. So it's been in existence for a long time, the program.
And is it achieving its goals?
We have certain objectives and measures that we have to go through, abide by, to keep, obviously, our grant and to keep the program running. But yes, our objectives and the data that we collect has proven that, yes, it is very effective.
Awesome. So what is it with Star Trek in you? Stacey Abrams did look good.
Oh, I do love Star Trek. I'm not a Trekkie by any means.
Discovery? Star Trek Discovery? Oh my gosh.
I did really enjoy that series.
Wasn't that cool?
But I think the Next Generation is probably my favorite.
Uh-huh.
Just because it really deals with a lot of the social issues that we have currently and are, and the way they deal with it is very scientific, logical, strategic. And for me, as a social scientist, I see things and try to see things rationally and objectively. And so when I see a world working under those premises, that makes me happy.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it this way, even in Star Trek Discovery, I mean, we're still dealing with Klingons, and there's that bigotry and that's in there. I mean, how many hundreds of years from now?
Until they became friends.
Until they became friends. That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, what I love about it is showing the diversity and how it can all come together as
Absolutely.
one. Oh my gosh.
There's beauty, a lot of beauty.
Yeah.
and diversity.
As I say, stop talking about it. Let's just do it.
Yeah, I absolutely.
Just do it.
agree
You
with
know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams. She stepped in as president of United
Earth.
United Earth. That's
Yes.
right. And I'm like, wow, she looks pretty good.
Yeah.
She looked stately.
I did not see that episode though. I'm looking forward to it though. So.
Oh, you wait to see what she does.
Okay, all right.
Want me to tell you about it?
No.
No. Okay. Dang on it. All right. Let's talk a little bit. There was equitable access kept popping up when I was doing my homework with you.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you in your life and in your campaign?
I think to me that means creating a platform, obviously, that will open doors for everybody in our communities, but also leveling out the playing field so that when we do get access to the door, that we are all starting on the same level. Now, certain people, grew up with certain privileges, right?
Sure.
And that's just, I think sometimes when we talk about the word privilege, we kind of think of it in terms of like, it becomes like this negative connotation of like, oh, it's something that's bad. No, privilege is supposed to be something that's good to help us access it to whatever it is we need, right?
Sure.
So take, for example, from just a logical perspective, like people who are disabled, they have certain privileges that help them with access and accessibility,
Sure.
right? Like, so say, for example, if you can't walk too far, you have a certain parking spot that you can park at that will give you access to the location that you need and quick and easy out.
Sure.
And so the whole idea of privilege is to open the door to make sure that people have certain privileges that will sort of level the playing field for certain inequities that exist. And that's how I see it.
What kind of inequity? That word.
Yeah, I mean, it's the opposite of equity.
I know.
Yeah.
What type though? What do you?
Yeah.
Give people an idea.
So I think for me right now, the reason why I'm running is because there's such a lack of representation, and not just at the county board, but at the city level as well. And I've lived in Sun Prairie for almost 22 years, Bill, coming up in June, so it's been a long time.
And I've never met you before. That's amazing. I thought I knew everybody in Sun Prairie.
Yeah, I thought I did too. And it was funny because I actually didn't really get involved in a lot of Sun Prairie work until I met Paul Esser, the mayor, and I served on the Dane County 2020 Census Committee.
Okay.
So that's where I met him, and we started connecting. And last July, he asked, there was a vacancy on the Public Safety Committee, and he asked if I would fill that. So I was like, yeah. That wasn't a no or a question at all. Yes, I would love to serve my committee. But what I'm back to the lack of representation part is. A lot of the times we don't realize that when the power dynamics has been shifted towards one people group for a long time, it's not even about power per se, right? It's about
perception?
Not really. It's really more about like having the ability at the table to direct policies that affect everybody's lives.
Okay.
And finding solutions. And the problem is, I don't have all the solutions, Bill.
Sure.
Do you have all the solutions?
Some days.
Right.
Terry says I do. I'm not right, but I have solutions.
Right. And so it takes really a whole community to come together with our lived experiences, our ideologies, and our areas of expertise, and to come and solve these issues that are in our communities. Because for a long time, that power dynamic hasn't been open to other people groups.
Uh-huh.
And because of that, you can't share with me what I've lived through. I can't share with you what you've lived through because I don't have that perspective.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And so to create that opens the door for other solutions or possibilities of other solutions or nuanced solutions that we haven't seen before if it were not for that person sitting at that seat. And I want to bring my lived experiences, my expertise on data analysis and policy writing, and to create a platform where I can serve my community through the county board.
Well, just take care of Sun Prairie. We love you for that.
Yes, absolutely. Sun Prairie is my priority.
As much money as you can give us, it'll be fine, whatever. And just make sure it all comes this way. Appreciate that. I know we have 30 minutes, but I want to touch on some because you talked about you talked about housing.
Yes.
That's my thing. So let's chat.
I didn't even know that you were in that realtors meeting. Were you in that?
I was not there for that.
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, I wasn't a part of that committee. I was asked, but I was not there. I had a conflict, as they say out there. Even in Zoom world, you can have a conflict.
Oh, yeah.
I am so zoomed out, by the way.
We are all. I'm an educator, so
Oh,
I'm definitely zoomed out.
Yeah, my educator at home, she's zoomed out completely too. So, here's the thing. I'm going to put you on the spot, but I'm not going to embarrass you. I would never do that. But I want to have a discussion about this.
Yeah.
So in your campaign priorities, you put increased affordable housing efforts to eliminate generational poverty and homelessness and promote access to home ownership and affordable rent. Now, with that said, let me kind of segue a little bit. We have, if you were going to start with the homes first and then talk about apartments, but if you look at the home situation right now, we have, if you looked on the multiple listing service, which is used by the real estate agents, we have 17 houses for sale in Sun Prairie, the city of Sun Prairie. Of those, actually 12 of them are only available.
Oh, wow.
Because the rest of them are what's called ghost listings for new construction. 12 houses when we used to have 50 sitting there. We have 2 condos.
Yeah.
Those condos, one is like $239,000, the other one is $439,000. We've had days where there have been 0 condos for sale. So now we have like a median price for our single family homes of $339,000, which is pushing that envelope for our first time home buyers because interest rates are going up.
Absolutely.
And then the other part of it is we have rentals. Our rentals are full. We're at 96% fluctuating, and which means we're at 100%. They're turning, flipping, and all that. How, and this is where I'm putting you on the spot, and if you say I don't know, I'm with you, girl. That's what I'm going to say to you.
Yeah.
How do you see us obtaining affordable housing when we have situations like that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it's a wonderful thing that we have so many people in Sun Prairie, right? That are,
This is everywhere.
Oh, this is everywhere, not just in Sun Prairie.
This
Dane
is
County,
just Sun Prairie, but Dane County the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that we really need to look at is obviously how homes are built, and in our economy, obviously, I know for a while wood was very expensive, so obviously it's expensive to build that, and also the interest rates, and so obviously when the interest rates were low, everybody wanted to sell their homes to get that.
Everybody wanted to buy.
Yeah, everybody wanted to buy and sell.
Right.
People who I knew for years who were living in their home were like, yeah, they didn't even think of selling, but they were like, let's sell because we want the money,
Right.
And so it created this huge inflation where we are, and I know the interest rates are going slowly back up, so that the purchase part is going down a little bit, which helps. No, not at all. It's still so that would be even worse than if the interest rates are going higher,
right.
and home buying is not going down. And so that's definitely a problem that's going to perpetuate a lot of these injustices that we see for people who are first homeowners or trying to own a home. And I think a lot of that, for me as a former homeowner, I think a lot of the struggles that we went through as a first time home buyer is obviously the credit score. Now, if you come from an impoverished family,
sure.
a low income background, it's really impossible for you to obtain that credit score, obviously,
sure.
to even get the credit to own a home.
Sure.
So that's like the first step towards that, obviously. And I think we need to educate. We need to bring awareness to our community, especially specifically targeting first-time home buyers, and educate them on that, help them towards that process of that. And I think a lot of the times when we shift towards like a lot of these policies or these issues that we're thinking about, we don't provide a plan in place that actually helps towards work towards the transition of whatever policy that we want to implement.
I like what you just said. I think you're right on, 90%. So part of it is the construction.
Yeah.
How are we constructing homes? Now, here's what I say to people all the time, is that you've got land. That price isn't going to change. God is not making any more land. I called him the other day. I was on the He said, no, I'm not making any more land. Took him 7 days. That was long, or 6 days. That was long enough.
7th day he rests.
He said I had to take a break. He couldn't get help. Labor was hard to find, so he rested on that 7th day. So we have land it's got its price on it, but then you've got your guys and gals that are builders, developers, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're working as fast as they can, and they're making about 10%. I mean, they're netting about 10%. That's not a lot if you think about it with the effort that they're doing.
Yeah.
But what they run into at times, all the time, is something that you have as one of your priorities, and it's policies.
Mm-hmm.
It's the planning commission. It's the guideline. I mean, when you
a lot of red tape to sift through.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they
I
don't
understand that. I
they
go
don't
through
need
that
it.
in education all the time, so I understand.
And the cost.
Yes, absolutely.
The cost, the fees, and Bill Connors loves to pick on me about that, but he's a blowhard, so that's okay. Fire starter, as I call him. I gotta give him a T-shirt with fire starter on there. Give it to him.
Go.
I like the guy. He's just.
I like Bill. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Hey, I defended him when he was on city council. People were attacking him. Most of the time, he's got our best interest at heart. But the fees and the cost associated with building one house is about $35,000. And we got to cut that out. We got to drop that down. We have to bring housing to Sun Prairie. To do that, we got to give it the incentives to do that. Doesn't mean give money away, but we've got to reduce it, make it easier. But also,
Absolutely.
we have to stop telling people how to build a house or an apartment building. Who cares if it's a red facade or a blue facade? I mean, that's the opinion of a politician. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there are ridiculous rules on even if you own a home, like you have to keep your grass cut to a certain level, inches, and stuff like that.
Well, the city will come cut it for you.
So there are definitely certain policies that are antiquated that does not work for us currently.
Right.
So revising those, obviously, and taking a look at it and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and looking at the data to collect that, because I'm a very big data nerd, and I like to look at the data to see where the inequities are, and then that proves to me more than anything, because data is the most unbiased way.
Spreadsheets. I love me some spreadsheets. Oh my gosh. I spend hours down rabbit holes on statistics and stuff like that. I'm with you on this.
That's good. Yeah, you and I are similar in that then.
The thing with affordable housing is this. Good luck.
That's pretty much what it is.
Good luck.
Like if you connect with a banker that is empathetic and they want to work hard to get you the money, if you do, that's the if.
Yeah.
Then that opens one door, and then after that you have to go through obviously the credit process, right? And then that's another door.
Right.
And then once you get the loan and you get approved for that, then you can actually say start searching for whatever is in your bracket of what you can afford.
Right.
And then the options are limited as well.
The FICO scores you talked about, I think, are it's very antiquated. We need to redo that whole thing.
I absolutely agree with you.
It's one-sided.
It doesn't account. Yeah, it doesn't account for two narratives.
No.
Yeah, it's not very nuanced.
Do you know if you rent, that does not go in your credit report?
No.
And that's wrong.
Doesn't. I absolutely agree with you, because you're spending
thousands. But if you don't pay your bill, it does.
Yes, but then if you're paying it, it doesn't work towards you.
Exactly.
And so that's sort of this double standard. Like, wait. What aren't we capturing that isn't creating this narrative that is holistic?
Sure.
And I think that's important too, is being able to open the door to see this holistic perspective of what people are going through.
Sure.
But I think that's a larger issue than you and me.
Well, no, but we have to be the start of that.
Absolutely, pioneers, right?
Exactly. We'll start somewhere. And we got to get people talking and right. Every politician out there, and I was one of them, when I ran for city council, they talk about, affordable housing. I need to focus on affordable housing. Nobody has told me specifically how they're going to fix it.
Yeah.
Period. Nobody. And I'm not picking on you. You're not picking. I love what you just said. You talked to me about design, changing FICO, or talking about FICO scores, and getting people into the homes. Right now, our problem is that we have people moving into Sun Prairie about $1,800 a year, I think.
Yeah.
16 to 1,800, and they're looking for a house. They're here because of our school districts, our parks.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very approachable government even, I would say. Well, I think we've got a good city council. They're approachable. Our mayor is approachable.
He absolutely is. Yeah.
He'll have coffee with you. He loves coffee. I lost my train of thought. I just it went right out the window on it. So if we look at design and changing, we can come together and make all of this very attractive to folks.
Yes, we can, absolutely.
Lost my train of thought, like I can't.
And I believe my role as on the county board will be able to, with initiatives that will help continue to build that, put into that funding, whatever it is needed.
Right.
Have the grants for that, and also the support for that. We can definitely make that happen.
Well, it's like when you're buying a home, you can do land leases. There's one thing. There's a community in New York and Pennsylvania. It was called Levittown, or it is called Levittown. And Levitt designed homes after World War II for veterans to be able to afford a home. Now, he did a slab base. There's no basement or anything like that. But he designed it specifically for a purpose, and that's what we need to do. Just like taking a field full of solar panels out by the airport, awesome idea. That land's not going to be used. But now it is. Yeah. But redesign. I love your idea of redesign. Yeah. How do we get people to think that way instead of just throwing money at stuff?
Exactly.
The same thing over and over again, expecting a change.
Yeah, I mean, I know Madison College has a really good program for housing, building these small houses, right?
Okay.
Like, I mean, if land is an issue, we can still build these smaller homes for people. A lot of people who are single, live in these, single homes or smaller homes. We don't need that huge 4,000 foot square home, whatever it is. I think that's a lot of the issues in our society and our culture as well, is like trying to get the biggest thing, the next best thing. And I think that if we think in terms of our neighbors and think in terms of like how can we downsize to make sure that everybody gets a chance as well.
Sure.
And I think that just thinking about other people helps open even that door for that.
Sure.
And I think a lot of the times when we, especially, I mean, I'm guilty of this too, when we purchase a home, we're thinking, what is the best home that I can afford for the whatever that I'm...
Your income you have.
Your income that you have. And then also, like, everybody wants the base home. Everybody wants, not everybody, but the majority of people do want that. And I think that if we bring the concept of downsizing and thinking in terms of how can we serve everybody in our community yet still meet the needs that we have, and help meet people's needs as well.
Right.
Come to the table and talk about those issues and hear from communities that are really struggling. And I think the problem is, like, even at the county, at the city level, the issues are, the problem is we don't really approach the people, that community, that are going through those struggles. A lot of the times we don't go to that community.
Why don't we?
And that's the thing. It's like that's the issue. It's like they're the ones that are experiencing those issues, right? But they also have the solutions.
Okay.
And we don't go to them to ask them what's going on in your neighborhood, your life, your world, where we can help them think outside of that box, and they can help us see what's in their perspective as well to come together. And I think the biggest issue that we're tackling with right now in our country and in our city and our counties is this disunity
oh my gosh.
in our country. And I
are you talking about political or
everything? Like, it's become overly politicized, even with the mask, even with the vaccine, everything, right? Our health, our well-being, all of that. And I'm really tired of that, because we can't even come together to talk about issues that are in our communities that are affecting certain people that are dire to these situations, like mental health right now, right? Like a lot of people, and I think housing is, homelessness is connected to mental health. And so, like, you can't even talk about housing until you deal with homelessness, until you deal with the mental health aspect of that.
Right.
And at the moment, like, our biggest need, I really think, especially serving in education and seeing my students and their families, how they've struggled in COVID for the past 2 years. Students have lost 2 years of learning, Bill. So that's like ramifications for years for us, and we don't even know how to deal with that yet.
It's going to be it's a temporary struggle.
I'm
hoping it's a temporary struggle.
I do believe that a lot of things in life are temporal.
Sure.
And that's how, like with the whole mask mandate, like when people were saying, let's lift the mask mandate, and I'm like, let's remember that this mask mandate was put in place to keep us all safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's only temporary until the numbers go down, in which the numbers went down, and then public health lifted the mask mandate.
Right.
And I think that a lot of the times people don't realize that a lot of the policies that we put into place are temporary. And if it isn't working and it's antiquated, let's think of a new idea. Come together and make things happen and make things work. And I'm digressing right now, but
No, you're
it's back
good.
to the housing, mental health and
Sure.
homelessness and
Yeah.
all of that. I think all of those things are connected, and us not being able to come together across party lines and collaborate and partner to make sure that everyone in our community is having a step forward, has the ability to live their life, to live the best life that they can live. And I believe creating affordable housing and getting people into a housing will help eliminate a lot of that generational poverty that we
Sure.
see in our community.
And we know that when they're in the housing, that it strengthens our community. The studies have
Absolutely.
proven that. The schools, we get their
Yeah.
better grades from the children, and they connect with the community.
Funding is
completely.
connected to that. So
Exactly.
housing, mortgages,
Right.
property taxes, goes to the school. A lot of that is connected to that. So, yeah.
So we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So what do you feel is one of the biggest issue with? I want to go back up for a second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now watch this. You said something. I'm really proud of you for saying
Okay.
this. Is that these differences that people have created out there, Democrat, Republican, I don't care what it is. We're so polarized. We got to stop it. And it starts on Facebook.
Yeah.
People are so brave behind a keyboard, but when they get out in front, they won't talk to people. We got to stop thinking Democrat or Republican or liberal, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and think as one.
Absolutely.
And so you had a great quote. No matter how much I differ on opinions with someone, I will always treat them with respect and dignity and use our differences to push me to do the work necessary to make sure everyone is seen, valued, heard, understood, and loved.
Absolutely.
And that's why people should vote for you.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
And you're the only person I've had the school board in here, city council in here, and you're the first person I've said that to. That, folks, is why you want this lady on the on the county board, because of that phrase right there. But
Thank you, Bill.
you're welcome. What do you think is the biggest issue of the county board right now? What are you jumping into that's going to be?
There are a lot of issues for sure. But
Give me one, because we're running out of time.
I think the overarching really is the disunity, and not in our country, on the county, and at the city.
Yeah.
And I really, going back to your statement, I really want to highlight that is I really want to cross party lines. It's supposed to be a bipartisan race, a nonpartisan.
Nonpartisan.
Yeah. And so
That never happens, by the way.
right. And for me, like, I grew up in evangelical conservative world. I was from Northern California, moved here 22 years ago, almost 22 years ago. And so, I understand the opposite side of that. And yes, though I've changed a lot of my my political perspectives after going to grad school, and actually
Grad school does it to you.
it does. It does. But a lot of my conservative roots are still there.
Yeah.
And I really find value in that as well, But even though, I'm definitely more liberal and more progressive, I understand that perspective as well, because I grew up poor, low income. I never, my parents didn't know how to read or write in English, and I grew up helping them navigate the whole, system. So.
Your parents didn't know how to.
No, they still don't.
Oh my gosh.
They can understand English, but they don't really, speak it fluently. And so, so I'm also a huge advocate for language access, because I also work part-time for the City of Madison, the Department of Civil Rights, as a language consultant for them. So that's the reason why I'm running, is because 2 years ago, when we went into lockdown, I met with the City of Madison's mayor, Satya, and she and I sat together, and she's like, Brenda, what are things that we can do to help the Hmong community during COVID? And because she was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, you know what? I don't know neither, but let me think about it. And so I realized that our most vulnerable in our population are our elderly. And that's because not a lot of people realize this about my culture and my language, but we actually never had a written language for hundreds of years.
I heard this.
Hundreds and hundreds. And it wasn't until the 1950s when missionaries, white missionaries, came
Uh-huh.
to the Northern Hills of Laos and wrote our current language that we use today from the Bible. They translated the Bible into Hmong,
Right.
and they created our language. So I grew up reading the Bible in Hmong, so that's how I learned how to read and write in Hmong. And
Oh my
so,
gosh.
and so I still
I
use
love
it to
that.
this day, you know. And then I started doing these videos for Department of Public Safety and City of Madison. And I just did a video last week about, you know, the mask mandate being lifted, information about that, and what you should still do regardless, you know.
Right.
And so I find that very important, is, you know, opening doors for people, creating unity, collaborating, crossing party lines, partnering with people that you have differences with, and hearing them. And like I said, you know, from my Christian roots, there is a word in the Bible, Genesis 1:1, when it says, you know, that God created us in His image, and it's the Latin word is imago Dei. It means created in. We are an image of God, and for me, like to not see someone's perspective is to diminish their humanity. And so that's what pulls me towards wanting to collaborate and partner with people, because I don't have all the answers.
Sure.
You know, and so to provide the platform where people can be seen, can be heard, can be understood, loved, and shown empathy and compassion
Yeah.
is really the most sustainable way forward. We talk about sustainability all the time,
Sure.
right? And I really believe that that's loving people, opening the door,
Yeah.
creating access,
Sure.
is sustainable.
Hugh Cha was part of my campaign.
Oh, I love you.
I was going to
Yes.
say, we have another connection.
Yes.
You are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
What do you want to tell people? We're out of time, so how would people get a hold of you?
Oh,
Or
yes.
find out more information about you?
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
You can definitely check me out on Facebook. You can just search Brenda Yang for Our Future. And I have all my videos there, what I'm doing weekly. If you want to come and help, you know, knock on doors, that's awesome. Continuing to do that, because I want to meet my constituents. I want to hear their stories. And so when I knock on doors, my first question is, how was the past 2 years for you? Because I really want to hear people's stories. I want to grow and I want to learn. And so like I said, follow me. You have any questions, you can message me on there or anything like that. If you want my personal information, you can definitely message me. I can give that to you as well. I would love to connect. I'm all about connecting. I'm a people person and I'm extroverted, so the last 2 years have been hard, but but we're back, you know, and so
Almost.
almost, not quite, yes.
No.
But yes, I would love the opportunity to meet if you're comfortable with that, and just hit me up. And I would love to hear your story, hear your perspective on how I can make Sun Prairie District 19 better for everyone in our community.
Would you like them to do something on April 5th?
I would love for you, if you haven't already voted for me, definitely come out and vote for me on April 5th. And the information for where your polling place is can be found on my vote.wisconsin.org, I believe, right?
Yeah, it is. Brenda Yang, you're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Thanks for being a part of the show. And
Yeah.
say, Sun Prairie, I hope that you've enjoyed the show today. Hey, don't forget that tonight, I want to thank all of our folks that came in and met with me and interviewed. I hope it was a different type of interview, you know, a little bit more relaxed, and you learn more about the person than about the issues. To say issues can be told everywhere, anywhere. In fact, they probably talk so much about the issues that they don't even want to talk about them anymore. But I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that I interviewed. Thank you for stepping up and being a part of our leadership in our city, our county, and really focusing on what's best for Sun Prairie. Or at least bringing the ideas of what you think is best. But more importantly, I love how each one of you said, I'm going to listen to my constituents about that. Now, my job, whether it's Brenda Yang or City Council or our school board, is I'm going to hold you responsible for that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to hold you accountable for those statements. And believe me, you'll hear it first right here, Sun Prairie. Hey, don't forget tonight, it's Monday. What do I love on Monday? Sunshine Supper. Sunshine Supper starts at 5 o'clock tonight, right down on Main Street. If you're looking for a meal, we'll give you one. And I don't know what it is, but it's delicious. I haven't had one that's not delicious. I do like a lot of mac and cheese. I'm on a different diet right now. Can't have that mac and cheese stuff. But stop down and see us at Sunshine Supper tonight, starting at 5 o'clock. Get there early. Line up. We actually have people line up at 4 o'clock. And I'm not there this week. I'll be there next Monday. And you can always come by and say hi. Any questions, ideas for the show, don't forget to reach out to me and let me know. And I would love to do that for you. Sun Prairie, have a great Monday. And enjoy this sun. It's going to be almost 70 degrees. Catch me back here on Wednesday at 11 o'clock for the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show, when you're going to hear a lot of amazing things about historical homes in Boston. See you, Sun Prairie. You guys take care. Bye now.
Bye.
There you go.
Thank you, Bill.
You're very welcome.
I didn't know you were friends with Oscar. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I love that man. He's one of my besties.
I met him, I think, 8 years ago when I was working on, started working on Shrek.
Oh, yeah?
Superintendent's Human Relations
Yep.
Advisor. And he and I have been serving there for years. And then he and I just started connecting because he loves art.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
And he's an author.
Yeah, he's a poet. He's
I
the
know
best
it.
in
And he
poetry.
don't know it. Is what I want to show you something, and then I
Yeah.
got to get off the air. But so this, I'll give this to you. I got to put my glasses on because I'm blind as a bat. So this was February, the end of February statistics.
Yeah.
Sun Prairie, city of Sun Prairie.
Yeah.
So it shows you there were 33 houses that went up for sale.
Yeah.
There was a 6% change over last year.
Okay.
There were 18 sold, which was 10% less.
Okay.
The average price sold was $421.
It's gone down a little bit. Yeah.
No, it went up 11.9 over last year.
Oh no, I'm just talking about the sold houses. 'Cause,
Oh wait, that's just 1 month though.
yeah. Oh.
So year
yeah.
to date, we're down 12%.
Okay.
Pricing's up 12.
Yeah.
Tells you that whatever the price of the house is, it's sold at 101%.
Mhm.
Average
Yeah.
days on market.
41. Ooh,
Mhm.
that's not bad at all.
Oh, it's better than well, it's longer than last year.
Yeah,
Last
it
year was
is.
18. So now down here,
Yes, I haven't bought a home for a long time, Bill. So wow, that's.
well, your constituents are dealing with this.
Yes.
So here's backwards. We're going up this way.
Yeah.
So February, it shows you that
Yeah.
there were 5% less,
Mhm.
26% less sales. The average price, how much higher? And we're not
Yeah.
into March yet.
It'd be good to know, like pre-COVID, because I'm sure COVID had a
There you
huge
go.
impact.
Well, there's
Oh
20.
yeah, I see that.
Then you want to go about 2012?
Yeah. Yeah. I will look up the data for just the year before as well, just to
Well, I
see
can
how
tell
much
you.
that. 2019.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow.
Happy to help you anytime.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And thank you for running for office. I appreciate it.
You know, it hasn't been easy, but it's a
I know.
second full-time job. Thank you, Bill.
You're very welcome, Brenda.
All right, you have a good day.
Thanks. If I can ever do something, ask. Like
I'll-
stats and that, I'll give it to you anytime.
Yeah, yeah.
Teresa Stevens and I give
I
it
love
to
Teresa.
quite a bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if I have a bunch of yard signs. If you want to grab some, I definitely will stop by, and if you want to help with that too.
I'm not doing it. Hey, you know why? I did it myself once.
Oh.
Well, I had help. I had over 150 signs out there. You know what's fun about those signs?
Yeah.
You have to go pick them up.
I know. I know.
Thank God I had a pickup truck.
History.
See ya.
Ballot status and sample ballot.
I'm going to talk to Josh O'Connor here in a few minutes.
You are?
I am. We're doing a redo.
Uh-oh.
The last interview, he sounded a little bit like Darth Vader.
Hey, let me get out of the show
No, you're
for a
fine.
second. You can stay here.
Why did you take a hiatus? Please share the
And a little bit
Bye,
of